Venezuela was the wealthiest country of all Latin America. And oil and gas company was the fifth oil and gas company of the world. So that was how big it was at that moment. And it was funny because I came here when I was 5 years. So my dad, I'm a fourth generation of oil and gas worker. So my dad came here in 1967 to the Tulsa University. So I came here when I had 5 years. I lived in Tulsa in the Kendall area. In fact, I studied in the Kendall Elementary School. And well, I flew back to Venezuela, and then I came here and became the CEO of CITGO Petroleum. And in 2017, during a business trip, being the CEO, I flew to Venezuela to make a presentation. And unfortunately, in the middle of the presentation, we were kidnapped. They took us as hostage, and we became the geopolitical pawns of the situation that was going at that moment during the first Trump administration, and our kidnapping lasted 5 years. So I stayed 5 years under that situation, and I could come back in 2022 through a prisoner swap. So when I came back, I said, okay, what am I going to do with my life? So there's where I decided to become a leadership and a resilient coach. That is what I do today. So let me introduce our presentation. We're going to be talking about resilient leadership, because this is what today I strongly believe that any leader has to be resilient. And you are in this area that needs to be resilient, because you have a lot of responsibility with taking care of kids and kids with disabilities sometimes. So it's a demanding situation for you. So let me introduce a little bit who am I. As I said, I'm a former executive. I'm a hostage survivor. Today I'm a leadership and resilient coach. I became a speaker, and I wrote my book of my story that I have it here today. It's called From Hero to Billion. So this is the book where I tell my story. If you see this book, these guys that are here were the guards where we were captured. And today I have a podcast, and I'm also a TV host in a show called Unbreakable Leaders. So that's what I do today. So let me introduce a little bit how was our situation. If we move here, this photo was taken when we were hostage in Venezuela. This is the ambassador, Roger Carton, and we were 6 guys. We became the CITGO 6 because I was the president of the company, but when I flew to Venezuela, I flew with my 5 vice presidents. So these guys that you see here were my vice president, but this time we had 4 years in the prison. So this one was taken in the prison. So this guy, is an ambassador of an office called the Special Presidential Office for Hostage Affairs. He was to negotiate our release. It took 1 year. After this photo that was taken in October 2021, we were released in October 2022, after 1 year of negotiations. This is me during that activity, and this is the photo that was taken the day we were released. We were released here in a military base in San Antonio, the Army Brooks military base, and that day I knew my grandson because he was born during my captivity, and so that was taken that day. That photo was hanging in the social media and has more than 1 million views. So it became really viral. And now that I'm talking about this situation, because I want to mirror, when you're in any position, leadership can be anything. You can be in any position of leadership, and you can be going to any adverse situation in life, because you don't have to go in the situation I went, but you can have challenge. So I want to give you some tools that you can use, practical tools that you can use, because one of the big things when you're having any adversity in your life is that the first thing that's going to happen is going to come inadvertently. Adversity will always come without expecting it. So how long has that happened to you, that comes a situation and you don't believe that it's happening to you? So it's very normal, because that is what life is. we're going to go through a situation in life. So you don't have to go through my situation. You can be going in any situation in life, even in the challenge of your job. But the first thing that when something happens is that you will deny it. The thing with adversity is that not only you are impacted, the people that are surrounded by you are also impacted. I took these photos because these photos were taken during our captivity. If you see, this is my parents and this is my wife. This is her in a meeting during our captivity because we were 6 families. It took 5 years to bring us back. So they created a foundation called the Bring Our Family Home Campaign that today still exists here in the U.S. And they begin to advocate for our release. So the people that you see there are the family of the 6 of us in a photo taken in the White House. And well, she doesn't have a photo with Trump, but they met also with Trump. And this photo was taken in a program they attended in Fox when Trisha Regan was the anchor of Fox. So this was in the Trisha Regan program. And this little guy that you see here is Sergi. He is the son of Gustavo. This guy that you see here, this is Gustavo. And that little guy is his son. So when I was invited a couple of months ago to come to this event, it touched my heart because we knew the case of Sergi. Sergi was supposed to pass in the first year of captivity. And today he's still alive. He's a miracle. He's really a miracle. And I cannot imagine all the suffering that Gustavo had being in that situation and having his son here that was supposed to pass. But he survived. So even though the situation, he survived. And he's doing well, by the way. He's doing really well right now. This photo was taken 1 month when I was released in an alley in Washington that is called the Freedom Alley. Today the alley exists and they have the faces of many people that have been in captivity. But because this is something that people doesn't realize. Many Americans are going through this situation today. Today, we're talking here, there are people that are in China, in Russia, in Afghanistan, Syria, Myanmar, Venezuela, Cuba. So a lot of people going through this ordeal. And I was invited to talk about this in the Congress. This guy that is with me, Matthew Heath. Here is another guy that doesn't appear in the photo, that is David Levinson. David Levinson is the son of a guy called Robert Levinson. Today, the Robert Levinson Act is the act that protects when you're going through this situation. It was after Robert Levinson was captured. He was a former FBI guy, captured in Syria, disappeared during 12 years, never was found. And today, in honor of him, the act has his name, Professor Levinson. And this was the day it was released. 1 month after, I put my sticker. After 1,775 days, I could come back and I could put the sticker there. These people that you see here are families and former hostages. This is Trevor Reed, that he was released from Russia. And this guy is Paul Rosas-Vagina. I don't know if you saw the movie Hotel Rwanda. That is the real Hotel Rwanda guy. He was released 1 year, and a half ago. And this was 2 years ago that we were proclaimed as the mayor of Houston. Now today we have our own day in Houston. And this is us with our family in that day in the proclamation. I wanted to show you all this stuff because even we went through this terrible situation, we tried to convert this in something that can help others. Because I could have stayed there suffering and say, poor of me, why I went to this. Because when you're going to any situation in life, as I said, the first thing that you're going to say is, this is not happening to me. This is wrong, this is not happening to me. You will deny it. It's very normal, it's human. It's human. You will say, this is not happening to me. But there comes the turning point. If you decide to stay there or you decided to move on. I'm not going to say for me it was easy. The first year I was in a solitary confinement We were separated, the six of us. So I stayed 1 year locked, 24/7, the lights turned on. I lost the sense of time. And I began to have a lot of suicidal thoughts. Because imagine, we were accused to be American spies in a communist regime. So the probability to come back was zero. So I was thinking, okay, I'm going to stay here forever. So I'm going to take my life. I didn't have no way to do it because maybe I would not be here. But for some reason of God, after around 10 months, one day they opened the door and they told me, dress up that you're going to have a visit. And they put me in a room, and when I come to that room, somebody opened the door and it's her, this is my wife, it was her visiting me, and I got in shock. I was scared. I was scared. I was happy to see her, but I was scared to see her there. And I told her, why you came here? And she told me that it was okay, and that was the first time, because I didn't have no clue what was going on. So that was the first day after a month that I knew that they were talking with the U.S. government, that the U.S. government was actively working to bring us back. They have assigned somebody as a focal point, and she came in a secure environment to there because the two ambassadors of Venezuela and the U.S., the tension began to be so bad that they will recall both ambassadors. So no ambassador as of today. There's no ambassador of the U.S. in Venezuela and no ambassador of Venezuela here in the U.S. So no relations. So it was a very difficult environment. So they didn't have no way to connect. So they accepted that she go there, and because she was delivering the message like a messenger, and try to bring there the message what they were asking for us. Because this is something that is terrible. It's called the hostage diplomacy. That you're a normal guy, like I was a normal guy. I was captured in the middle of this situation. Like all these guys that you saw there, most of them, nobody's politician normally. Maybe you can be in a business trip. Maybe you're doing a seminar because you're a seminar guy, or maybe you're a religious guy doing a prison. It can be any situation, and you get caught in the middle, and then they begin to leverage you. And that's why it's so difficult, because they begin to leverage you. So now we're in this situation. Now I know that she's there. Now I know that there's no ambassador, but now I know that they're working hard to bring us up. And they came something for me that is key in everything. It gave me hope. So now it gave me hope. And this is something that I always say, that when you're going to any situation in life, you need to have hope. Because the people sometimes go hopeless. And when you're going in things, you go hopeless. There's where you lost the battle. So the hope is what's going to make you to change your mindset. So after her visit, she stayed 3 hours, only 3 hours. So those 3 hours changed my life. Because now I'm thinking that I had to come back because I have my family waiting for me. So when I went to the room, I was still lost. But now I'm having faith, I'm having hope. The thing began to evolve at some point, and after 1 year, they decided to put that 6 of us together after a visit of a delegation of the UN. So the UN flew to Venezuela, and they began to negotiate, and they found the way to have a better treat of us, and they decided to put the 6 of us together. So there comes another turning point. So now that we're the 6 together, and it was a funny situation. Today I say this is the hands of God. We were not friends. We were colleagues, not friends. Like you can be colleagues, and maybe you're not friends. Maybe you don't know your personal story. Because normally that's what's happening in when you're in any business. You know the people, you say hello, you take a coffee, but you don't go deeper with them because they're not your family. Normally everybody respects the privacy of everybody, and that's what happened to us. We were not friends. So the first time that we were together, so we were 6 guys chosen randomly, 30 plus year married, with very well established family, and kids and grandsons. The probability that 6 guys choosing randomly have the same pattern, only God can do it. Only God can do it. That was not a coincidence. We were there for some reason. And now we're the six of us, 30 plus year married, 30 plus year career, a lot of brains, hundreds of years of experience, a lot of brains trying to survive. And this guy that you see here, Jorge, he has been all his life a marathon runner. Today he's running marathons. He's in Berlin, something. So he's still running. He has run the Boston Marathon, New York Marathon, Miami Marathon, Houston Marathon. Has run all over the place. So by that time that we were captured, he was coming from Germany. He had a couple of days. He had arrived from Germany. So now he's there with that locked. That guy began to train us. We began to get trained because we were putting the six in a cage. A 100 square foot cage. 6 guys in a cage, years. But now we're together and we're thinking to survive. And this guy did a training program. We did like a 3-hour daily training program. We did static running, we did push-ups, we did meditation, we did yoga. And this is something that comes with the resilience. Because the resilience comes with those daily habits. Those daily habits in life. Sometimes you don't realize how important they are. Today I'm deeply and strong recommending this because when you go to a situation like mine, believe me, that you lose everything, that amplifies everything for you. You begin to see the things totally different. So now we are here having morning habits. And we created what we call a survival plan. That survival plan is funny because I converted today. That's my coaching program today. It's called the Unbreakable Leadership Surviving Plan. And it's based on the pillars that I'm going to show you today. They are very simple, but very powerful. So the first thing is that expressing in the morning gratitude. It looks like you hear a lot about that, but believe me, it's powerful. When you awake in the morning, the first thing that you do is express gratitude. When we were released, October 1st, 2022, I remember that after maybe 5 days being we were in a decompression program, the program that is done for the missing in war and prisoner of war and missing in action. We went through that program. So we were in our 5th day of that decompression program, and the captain that was handling the program, he took us to chill out, to take a barbecue. And then we were in San Antonio, so he took us to take a couple of beers, see a rough man, and eat a barbecue. And I remember he was sitting with me, and he told me, Jose, how you feel? And I remember looking to the sky and telling him, this is the first time in years that I see the stars. A simple thing like looking at the star, for me, was a blessing. So today in the morning, when I'm an early bird, I'm a 5 a.m. guy. So when I awake every morning, I have 2 pugs. And when I go with them in the backyard and I have the fresh air, the first thing I do is express gratitude. And this is something that, believe me, is powerful. Why is powerful? Because today I'm a big fan of the neuroscience. Neuroscience has reconfirmed what the Bible has said 3,000 years ago, that the faith changed everything. Gratitude changed everything. And there is a scientific studies that when you express gratitude, there is something happening in your brain. You rewire your brain. There is a lot of dopamine that is infused in your body, and that changes the way you see the life. And when you begin to do it on a daily basis, you are rewiring your brain. You are having positive thoughts. You're changing your mindset. So even we were going in that dark moment, we decided to change our mindset because now we're 6 guys cheering each other, and knowing that we needed to survive because we had family waiting for us. So now we were here taking care in body, in soul, and soul and spirit to ourselves. Because one of the big mistakes that people do, and this is key to say this to any leader, take care of the thing that you can control. Try to be focused on it. Because one of the biggest mistakes is you want to control everything. And there are things that you can control, and there are things that you cannot control. That was happening to us. We were a lot of brains. We were 6 guys, believe me, a lot of brains. We wanted to control everything. We wanted to mastermind how we were gonna do to go outside that. We didn't have no clue how to do it. We didn't have no way to influence that. So one day we discovered, okay. Let's step back. We cannot control this. But what we couldn't control, taking care of ourselves. So that's why we decided. We left to our families to take care of us, and we decided to take care of ourselves. That's where began the morning exercises. Simple things like eating. Because I'm gonna say here, the first year for us was a real nightmare. Not only isolation, starving, no food. I lost 100 pounds. So during that time, after 1 year, that they decided to put us together, and they allowed our families to bring us food. So she had to begin to bring me food from here to the U.S. to Venezuela. Totally a nightmare. So what my family decided is my eldest son, he moved to Colombia, and he began to provide from Colombia to Venezuela food. And somebody picked up the food and cooked every 3 days. They sent me food, and they did it during 4 years. My son did that during 4 years. What happened that when I began to receive those food, I had to return the trash cans. And because I was not having no contact with them, I took the risk, and I began to smuggle letters inside the cans. Those letters began to go through. They never found it. I don't know how. Reason of God. Letters were not found. We stayed like 3 years doing it. Today I have over 1,000 letters in my house, and this book is based on those letters. So when I came back, I saw that she blew my mind. She had compiled those letters. She had put it in a Word document, and we began to edit it, and it became to be the book. So the book is a memoir. This book won an international award. It's a true memoir. I'm very honored of that. It's 4 times Amazon bestseller, and because I decided not to put this as a victim, as a person that God transformed after this. So let me begin to go through what for me are the 4 steps that you have to do in any situation in life. I call them the 4 pillars. That is the resilience, the determination, the adaptability, and the leadership anchored in faith. And I'm going to go through each of them, why they are so important. Let's begin with the resilience. Everybody talks about resilience. You hear a lot about resilience. So I'm not going to be here like an academic to talk about resilience. I'm going to talk from my personal journey why that resilience is so important, because that's literally what made us survive. Because resilience is not only when you fall and you bounce back. It's when you fall and you bounce back, but you bounce back stronger. So you learn from the failures. Because that's what the true leaders do. If you go to any of the leaders, even in the Bible or in the real life, the leaders that have been successful along all the history are those that have had the capability to fall and bounce back, learn from the failures, and come back stronger. And you can see a lot of examples of that. And people have gone back, and go until they be successful. There are a lot of examples of that. And in the Bible, you find all the characters. All the persons in the Bible that you see have that characteristic. They fall down, they are teared down, and then they go up, and they got successful, but because they got connected to God and to their faith. So now we are in our captivity, and as I said, we begin to do things that could be seen like ridiculous, simple, that for us was really powerful. For example, my son began to provide me food. I began to receive the food. So after 1 year, I began to receive food, real food, provided back by our family. For me, the food was not the food, was the love that I was seeing when I received the food. And for me, not only the love behind the food, that I had now the opportunity to receive letters from her and send letters back. So that food for me was like my anchor that made me survive. So now we're the 6 receiving food. Every family had their own logistic. And we created a plan to leave the people had the breakfast in the solace of their silence. So what we did is that we created a routine where everybody took their food alone. I went early bird, I was the first one. So 6 a.m. in the morning, I went, I took my food. I had a small microwave. I put it in the microwave. I'm sitting in a small table with a chair, lights turned off, and eating and praying and expressing gratitude. So that simple thing, begin to do a daily routine, daily basis doing that. And then after that, we begin our morning exercises, 3-hour exercises. In my life, I have done so much exercise. I was standing here, I'm doing push-up here, because now I'm communicating with her, because now we're having those letters, and we have the opportunity to, and believe me, at some point I was very aware of what was going outside, because we created like a secret code in our letters. In my book, I talk about that, and simple things like, for example, during that time, Mike Pompeo was Secretary of State, so we call the volcanic, for Pompeo. So we put the nickname the volcanic. Every time we were talking, the volcanic was talking about Mike Pompeo, or Trump was the bachelor, and the White House was the hill, and Eldridge was CITGO, because CITGO is located in Eldridge Parkway in Houston. So we begin to use symbols. The ambassador in Venezuela, his name is James Story. We call him the Story Man. So we begin to put some nicknames. In that case, they discovered the letters. They never discovered the letters. I don't know how, but never discovered the letters. I have the letters, all of them with me. So now we're having these communications. So there's where the resilience comes, because now we're anchored in our hope. We're anchored that we really needed to come back to them. We're doing exercise. We're doing morning gratitude. We're doing morning and daily habits. And we begin to do something else. We begin to pray. We begin to pray. And we begin to read the Bible. I was not a Bible guy. I'm gonna say here, I was not a Bible guy. I was a guy that I was so focused in my corporate career that I abandoned God. And I abandoned my family. I'm honest in that. That was my case. And today I'm very, very aware that was something that was missing in my life. And when we decided to return back to God, is that we discovered that He was there. He was there with us. We begin to see a lot of signs of Him protecting us there. And now we're having like a 3-hour Bible studies. And let me tell you, and I'm going to be honest in this, because spoiling alert, I tell this in my book. When I was going to CITGO, I live in an area in Houston called Cypress. So I had to go through the 290, and it was under construction by that time, go through a highway, the Highway 6, all the way to Eldridge Parkway, where is the headquarters of CITGO. When I was going there are a lot of churches. And I was going with my driver, and I was telling Felix, I saw a lot of signs saying biblical studies. And I was joking, who is wasting their time doing biblical studies? Well, I'm now here doing a daily biblical studies on 3 hours per day. And now we are in that situation that is powerful when you begin to hear the stories like Job in there, or the stories of Paul in there, or reading the Psalms in there. It goes to another dimension. So you see it with another eyes. And now we're having those studies. Now we're praying, and you cannot believe me that I begin to sleep in peace. Because now comes something else after the hope, there is the faith. And this is something that you have to have in your life. Faith. Not only faith in you, faith in God. And I want to say here, the guy that you saw there, the Ambassador Carton, this guy, he visited us in October 2021. I remember that visit was a 3-hour visit, and he was authorized to talk with us, because by that moment the Venezuelan regime was trying to give the impression that we're treating us okay, because they were negotiating us. They were negotiating a lot. They were negotiating an oil embargo. They were negotiating personal sanctions. They were negotiating swap of some people they wanted to swap. They were asking a lot for us. So now we had a visit of this ambassador, and I remember when we finished the visit, I told Ambassador, I don't know when, but we're gone. We're gone. Because he told us that the negotiations were beginning, and the negotiation, he was here, but he needed to be here to get something. They said, we're still here, but we're going to be here. I told him, we're going to be gone. The day after, they gave me a phone call, and I had the opportunity to talk with my wife. And I told her, Mommy, bring me a carry-on. She told me when I came back that she saw that I was crazy. Why this guy is asking me a carry-on? And I told her, I want to have a carry-on because I'm going to be gone. I don't know when, but I'm going to be gone. But put me so close to there. Put me like for a 1 week close. So see, I was thinking, not only the carry-on, with clothes inside the carry-on, I took everything out and I only stayed with that carry-on. I put it in a corner. Every morning I begin to talk to this little guy and begin to say to him, be ready because we're going to be gone. Every morning I did that during 1 year. And that became my anchor. The carry-on is in my house. I came with that carry-on. I remember the day he landed in the tarmac in the Army Brooks military base. I was the first that was going to the hangar. They were in the hangar, and then my daughter was there, and she saw me with my carry-on, and she told me, Dad, you look like you were coming from a business trip, a family vacation. You know, I was with my carry-on. But what is the metaphor through the carry-on? Sometimes you're carrying a heavy baggage. That heavy baggage, you have to give it to God. That carry-on is your dreams. That's what you have to carry. Carry your dreams. So that carry-on became my dreams. So now the resilience become an anchor, because now I'm having hope, I'm having faith, and now I need to come back strong in body, soul, and spirit, totally changed. And magic became another thing that for me, things that are magic. So now at that point, we were allowed to have books. So I'm receiving books, and I'm writing those secret letters, and I'm having good food, and now we're having a better situation. And one day, it comes a book that somebody brought to me. I don't know how it came that book to me. And the guy said, hey, Jose, read this book. It's incredible, this book. And I saw, it was a book called Men in the Search of a Meaning, of an author called Viktor Frankl. I don't know if you have read Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl is a survivor of the concentration camps during the World War II, in the Auschwitz concentration camp. And he's the father of the logotherapy. And what Viktor Frankl in his book says, that the people that he analyzed that the people that could survive, the Jews that could survive during that ordeal were those that had a purpose. Those who find that they needed to come back because they had a purpose, those were the ones that survived. So the people that today are survivors of the concentration camp, if you do an interview, all they will tell you that they came back because they had a purpose. Something that was waiting for them outside. So I discovered that my purpose was coming back to my family. And that's how I got anchored. And believe me, it was God. That book for me was an angel talking and telling me what I had to do. So now I'm very, very strong. So now the resilience became not only strong, but then comes the second pillar, that is that determination. Because being resilient is not enough. You can be resilient, but you need to be determined. Because what is the determination? The determination becomes to be like when you have your car empty of gas, you go to a CITGO station and then you fill up the tank. So that is the determination. That when you fill up the tank, that is the infuse. The determination is the infuse. That no matter what circumstance you're going in your life, is going to keep you going. So that's something important in leadership. Not only be resilient, be determined. Determined is by choice. Be determined is by choice. So you will be determined only if you have the choice. And you have to keep moving forward. The third pillar is the adaptability. Why adaptability is so important? Because this is a crazy world. Everybody, can you agree with me that the world is going crazy? Very crazy world. That change always has been there. But today is more important because even that you are in the area that you are, things are changing. Legislations are changing. Bureaucracy is changing. Procedures are changing. Systems are changing. Relationships are changing. Everything is changing. And if you're in a leadership position, I cannot imagine. I'm not today a CEO like I was in the past of a big company, but I cannot imagine the people that have to deal with international relations going crazy with changing the tariff, changing the relationship, and wars, a lot of things going on. So the only way that a leader can be successful is being adapted. So that ability becomes to really be like a secret sauce. And not only adapted, he as a leader, be adapted and give that adaptability to your people so that now your team can be adapted. When you create that culture in your organization, that makes your the organization become successful because everybody is moving on what's going on. One of the biggest mistakes is that you have a plan and things have changed and you want to continue with the plan. Maybe you have to adapt the plan to the changes and you don't know it and you still speak to them. There's where comes the mistakes, when you try to force a situation that is not more there. So the adaptability is very important. And the fourth pillar, as I said, the most important pillar is be anchored in faith. For me, this is the key of everything. Faith is the key to everything in life. If you don't have faith in you and faith in God, nothing is possible. And again, I'm going to go back to the neuroscience. Neuroscience has confirmed what the Bible has said since years. Because when you are praying, what are doing is manifesting the things that you haven't seen, that you are believing in that they're going to happen. And that's what happened to us. I began to believe that we were going to come back. I strongly believed it. In some point, I was coaching her because when I was talking with her, she was depressed. I said, hey, don't be depressed. We're going to be gone. So I was here coaching my wife that was free. But I was really, really strong knowing that I was going to come back. So for me, faith is the anchor of everything. So the four pillars, remember, resilience, determination, adaptability, and faith. If you go through these four pillars, you're going to do anything in your life. Anything in your life. So I want you to have a takeaway that when you walk away here, think on any situation that you're going in your life. How have you gone? Have you been perceiving the way you react? Are you trying to take baby steps to cheer yourself if you're doing things okay? Are you expressing morning gratitude? Are you really thinking that you need to change if the change is needed, and be flexible? And are you really determined to go? And have you faith in yourself and you have faith in God? If you say yes, 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 you're in the right track. You're in the right track. So that's my final recommendation to you here. So I want to say that for us, we could come back after 5 years, 1,775 days. And for us was something that we really managed to convert in an ordeal, in something that today I'm here talking to you. I had this conversation with many people. I had the opportunity to talk in several Ivy League colleges, in some companies, in my church. I'm today very connected to my church. I do my church service. We have a group in our church that we are very, very close to our heart. And I'm starting a foundation also, a nonprofit is going to be launching in the next month to help trauma survivors. The person that became my therapist is going to be now my partner in my foundation. And those 4 pillars is going to be a ripple effect. So I want to give you that you have to practice those morning rituals, and ask you the question to you and your team: what are you doing to change? Make you that question. So, coming to the close, because I believe we're going to close. We want to have some Q&A. If you're going to stay, I brought some books that I want to share with you, the ones that I want to take them. This becomes a ripple effect. But when you decided to practice this, implement it, that became a ripple effect in your organization and even in your family, in your house, in your community. When the people see that you are, it's like a vibe. You're vibing in a way that people can feel it. Believe me, that people can feel it. Today, I'm very, very proud that I'm connected to wonderful people because I today vibe with them. I decided to put my words and put my effort in that area. Not only through the book, because I wrote a second book that is called Unbreakable, and this book is based on biblical principles. So if you go back, this is my QR code to my webpage. You can go there and you see a lot of good stuff that you can take there. If you want to take a photo of that. You will find there my LinkedIn, my Facebook. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about leadership, and I have my podcast, and I have also the TV show that is called Unbreakable Leader. That I have it there in my YouTube channel. I'm very honored that it's heading to 25,000 subscribers and almost 1 million views this year. These are the 2 books in Spanish and in English. This is a QR code of this book. I'm gonna give up some for gifts, that for me has been so incredible, the ripple effect. Today the book has been translated in Bengali. More than 100,000 people in Bangladesh have read the book. I'm gonna be going in January to in the Dhaka University, and I'm gonna have next week a meeting with an Indian publisher that wants to publish it in the India. The book is being sold today in the India. And this is the second book. You have also the QR code if you want to take it. I have some here that I can give you for gift. And finally, this is the QR code of my contacts. If you want to contact with me, you take this QR code there. There are all my contacts there and all my social media. You can have it there. So set this. Thank you for being here. I'm gonna give you some minutes if you want to have some Q&A. As I said, I have some books. The one that want to come, I'm gonna give it and share to do. And well, thank you for having me here. So I'm open to any questions.
It's Don Carter 17.
Any questions? This is based on the letters. If you want, You have a pen? No. Oh, you have a pen? Okay. Okay.